Hey, it's Jill with the Hip Kit Club, and today I'm creating a layout using one of the exclusive cut files from the October collection. Now, as a member of Hip Kit Club, you get access to not only new cut files every single month, but also the entire library of all past cut files are available to you, and that is such a huge value. I love using these cut files because they help a layout come together in such an easy, beautiful way. And so I started with the buff cardstock, which is one of the colors in the cardstock kit this month, and cut this file out from that color. It's just a little bit of a kind of bone color, a little bit off-white, and I loved that bringing in a little bit of warmth as I start to build this layout. Now I know I want to back all of the open spaces in the cut file with some of the beautiful pattern papers in this collection. So I went for more of the patterned papers, the ones that didn't have as much icon focus and used a lot more of that textural side of the patterns. And you can see as I filled in my wreath, I've got it all done here. Just took a little while during watching a fun show and created that entire cut file matted with papers behind. But you can see I also went in and pulled that pattern paper that has all of the leaves and used the actual leaf shape to fill in behind some of these leaf die cuts. And that was able to give me some of the boning in the leaf and the veining. And that was a really cool detail as well that I wasn't planning at the beginning. But as I started to go, it was a really great way to back some of those. So mixing all those colorful patterns really was the star of the layout. The rest of it comes together so easily. I loved that wood grain 12 by 12 pattern paper. And I like the warmth and the texture that adds, but it also isn't distracting from all the color and movement that's happening through the wreath. So then I go into the embellishment pack and I'm looking through all of these die cuts to find ways to kind of add more details, more icons and things to this wreath just to kind of fill it out a little bit. It's beautiful as a standalone piece, but adding some of these things like florals, layered up pumpkins, and some of the cute little animals really brought this whole layout to life. So I just went through all of them to pull out what I thought might work as I start to put this layout together. So then I go to my photo, and I've got this really fun photo of two of my kids at a pumpkin patch a few years back that I've never scrapbooked, and so that was a fun thing to get to pull out and use on this layout. It was perfect for this. And I matted that on the colored cardstock. So that's, again, just a little bit of a darker color of the cardstock that's still giving me that nice bright border on my photo, but it has some warmth to it, and that beautiful shade of these cardstocks this month are so perfect. So I'm just adding that with some foam tape and then tucking some tags on top and behind the photo, just to give a little bit of fullness to that open space in my wreath. So I find some twine that I have in my stash. It's white with just a little bit of a copper, like a metallic copper thread going through that. So I thought that was kind of nice to bring in to the layout. So I'm just tying my tag, both tags, with some of that string, and that's bringing in just a tiny bit of texture, and the shine of that copper is really fun too. So I also want to add some stamps from the stamp set in this month's collection to the two tags. So I grabbed an ink color that's a little bit of a warm sagey color. It worked really well for giving me not the harshness of a black, where there's no black happening on this layout, but a nice bold color to that. So I'm stamping the word October on the tag that's going to run horizontally across the page, and then the tag that's kind of peeking up behind, there's a stamp that just says love, love, love this. And I do, and it's perfect. So I add that to the top of that tag, and then I'm just going to layer the one tag in the top left corner of the photo, and I'm just making sure that all of the edges of that little scallop tag is there, that those edges are fitting in among the leaves and the different pieces of the cut file. So I've got that in place, and then I'm going to put the October tag right on top of my photo. And I think that that kind of gives just a nice way to bring focus to the photo in the center, but also fill out some of that extra space. So then I loved that there are some really fun pumpkin die cuts in here. And when I layer those on top of the larger die cut pumpkins, I thought that that really pulled it together and made it feel like a really fun cluster. It's also pulling some of that bright orange color to the bottom of the layout. Then where I kind of had that little tear in my cut file, I was able to just hide that with one of the florals. And so I liked, again, pulling in just a little bit of floral with all of this more foliage cut file. And then the animals, I was dying over those. I had to use those. So I've got a cute little squirrel, a cute little hedgehog. I tried to use the fox. I just felt he's a little bit too big for nestling in the wreath and not being a little too bold, but he's adorable. And that brown pumpkin with the florals is probably my favorite die cut in the collection. I think that's so cute. And mixed in here with all of those layered cut file pieces, I thought that that floral pattern just really helped to balance that out. So each of the animals found a little spot in the wreath, and then I'm just adding a few other die cuts, a little flower, and then this little title, or this little circle that is kind of working as my title. My page doesn't have a main specific title, but I think it works perfectly with the stamped elements and the words in that sentiment. And sometimes you don't need a large title to finish off a layout. I think it works just great this way. So then I found another little circular element because that love was a circle. I wanted to pull in another, and I've got that mushroom little circle element that I tuck right in the side as well. So then I come into the cardstock stickers, and I find a word strip in that nice soft pink color, and it says, "Hello, my sweet little pumpkin." So I thought that that was a perfect sentiment to layer up. And when I find that, I am going to just layer it with that other die cut tag. So I decided to dovetail the sticker so that it kind of feels like a layered element on that tag. And so I just attach that to the top, and it's just giving me another little pop of color and another layer to that. So then I come into the pearls that are part of the embellishment kit this month, and there are some really beautiful, there's like a nice golden color, a nice peachy color, and then this more coppery brown, which I thought was going to really give my layout just a little bit of depth. Plus I loved that the copper strands in my twine matched that really well. So in the die cut or the cut file where there are those open holes in kind of the berry shapes, I'm filling those with some of these pearls. And so I'm just arranging the different sizes. And even on the edge of the cut file, I decide I'm going to cut off one of those little circles, more so just to keep the balance of having 5 pearls on that side instead of 6. So I just cut one off, which was not hard to do at all. And so I've got a nice scattering in 3 different places as a visual triangle that those pearls are falling into place around the layout. And I like the shine that it gives, that pearlescent finish, and just that balance of the dark color kind of popping through. I finish off the layout by going through with one of the stickles colors that I have in my stash. And again, it's got that coppery gold finish to it. And so I'm just going over the little sprigs and the little leaves that are left on the die cut. They were pieces that didn't get layered with pattern paper because there was no open space. And so instead of anything behind like the rest of the cut file, I'm adding this little bit of shimmer and this little bit of texture and dimension with the stickles to the tops. And I'm trying to actually make it not perfect lines. I just want little streaks and little sketchy lines of this glitter to just add another little element of detail to the layout. So from there, I'm just going to add some journaling to finish off the layout. And so I cut myself just some strips of, again, that buff cardstock. And so it's a really soft, light color, but not the stark white on this layout. And a brown journaling pen. I love the Le Pen brand for my small little journaling strips. And I'm adding those 2 strips just right below my photo in that open space, which again helps fill out that middle section and also add a little bit of the personal story portion to the layout. So that finishes up the layout. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this come together. I hope you'll check out all of the amazing cut files. There are so many new files available every month. And if you're not a HipKit subscriber, then you can absolutely buy them as a full bundle each month or a la carte. But getting them through the subscription of having a membership with HipKit Club is by far the best value because you get access to all the other products as well as these cut files. So definitely check that out at hipkitclub.net, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.